It usually happens in the quietest moments. You're sitting on the couch after a long day. The house is calm. Maybe a soft lamp glows in the corner of the room. Your dog slowly walks over, circles once, then settles beside you. And without warning, they gently rest their head on your leg. No barking, no excitement, just the weight of their head resting there. For a moment, everything feels still. You might instinctively reach down and stroke their ears. Maybe you smile, assuming it's just a sweet little habit, something cute, something simple. But what most people don't realize is that this small, quiet gesture is actually one of the deepest forms of communication dogs have with humans. Because when a dog rests their head on you, something much more complex is happening beneath the surface. And behavioral science tells a very different story. Most dog owners believe this behavior means one thing: affection. They assume the dog simply wants attention, maybe a pet, a scratch behind the ears, or a little reassurance. And sometimes that's partially true. But canine psychologists and animal behavior researchers have discovered that this gesture isn't just about affection. It's about connection. It's about trust. And in many cases, it's about emotional regulation. To understand why dogs do this, we have to step into their world for a moment. Because dogs are not just companions. They are social mammals. And like humans, their survival historically depended on relationships. Long before dogs lived in houses and slept on couches, their ancestors lived in tightly structured social groups. Wolves. Within a wolf pack, physical contact wasn't just common. It was essential. Wolves leaned on each other, rested against each other, slept touching. Why? Because physical contact helped regulate stress within the group. It signaled safety. It strengthened bonds. And perhaps most importantly, it created a shared sense of calm. When a dog rests their head on you today, that ancient instinct is quietly revealing itself. In their mind, you're not just a caretaker. You are part of their pack. And placing their head on you is a behavior rooted deeply in that evolutionary memory. But modern science has taken this understanding even further. In 2015, researchers at Asabi University in Japan conducted a fascinating study on the bond between dogs and humans. They discovered that when dogs and their owners share moments of calm eye contact or gentle physical contact, both species experience a surge of a hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is often called the bonding hormone. It's the same chemical released between mothers and infants, between close friends, between romantic partners, and remarkably between dogs and humans. In the study, when dogs gazed at their owners or rested calmly near them, oxytocin levels increased in both the dog and the human. This chemical response created a feedback loop of emotional connection. The dog feels safe, the human feels warmth, and the bond grows stronger. Now think about what happens when a dog places their head on you. They're initiating physical closeness. They're activating that biological bonding system. And without saying a word, they are strengthening the relationship. But there's another layer to this behavior that many people overlook: the nervous system. Just like humans, dogs have a stress response system that fluctuates throughout the day. Loud noises, unfamiliar environments, changes in routine, even subtle shifts in their owner's mood can affect them. When dogs feel uncertain or slightly stressed, they often look for grounding signals. And one of the most powerful grounding signals in a dog's world is physical proximity to a trusted individual. In other words, by resting their head on you, the dog is doing something incredibly intelligent. They are regulating their nervous system. Your presence, your scent, and your body warmth send signals of safety to their brain. This reduces the production of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, and slowly, their body begins to relax. It's not so different from how humans behave. Think about the last time you hugged someone you trust during a stressful moment, or when a child leans against a parent during uncertainty. Physical closeness is one of the most powerful calming mechanisms mammals have. Dogs are no exception. But here's where things become even more fascinating, because resting their head on you isn't just about calming themselves. It's also about reading you. Dogs have evolved alongside humans for over 15,000 years. During that time, they developed an extraordinary ability to interpret human emotional signals. Researchers at the University of Helsinki found that dogs can detect subtle changes in human facial expressions, tone of voice, and even scent related to emotional states. They can smell shifts in human stress hormones. They can hear tiny changes in vocal tension. They can read body language with remarkable accuracy. And when a dog places their head on you, they are often gathering information. Your breathing, your posture, your emotional state. It's their way of checking in. Sometimes, dogs do this when they sense their owner is tired or sad. They feel the emotional shift, and instinctively they move closer. It's not just comfort for themselves. It's comfort for you. A quiet gesture that says, "I'm here." But there's an even deeper insight hidden in this behavior. Trust. In the animal kingdom, placing one's head down or exposing the neck is a vulnerable act. It signals that the animal does not perceive danger. When a dog rests their head on your body, they are lowering their guard. They are entering a state of safety. Their brain is essentially saying, "This individual is part of my secure environment." In attachment psychology, researchers describe something called a secure base. For human children, that base is usually a parent. For dogs, it often becomes their owner. A 2013 study conducted by researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna demonstrated that dogs use their owners as a secure base in unfamiliar environments. When the owner was present, dogs explored more confidently. When the owner left, stress behaviors increased. This is strikingly similar to the attachment patterns seen in human infants. And behaviors like resting their head on you are small reflections of that bond. They are signals of security. But here's something important every dog owner should understand. The meaning of this gesture can sometimes change depending on context. If a dog suddenly begins resting their head on you much more frequently than usual, it might indicate something deeper. Dogs often become more physically attached when they're feeling anxious. Changes in the household, a new pet, a new baby, loud construction sounds outside. Even subtle shifts in routine can trigger clingier behavior. In those moments, the dog isn't just seeking affection. They're seeking reassurance. Their brain is asking a simple question. Is everything still safe? Your calm presence answers that question. And in most cases, the behavior fades once the dog feels stable again. However, the opposite change can also be meaningful. If a dog who normally seeks physical contact suddenly stops resting their head on you or avoiding closeness entirely, it may signal discomfort, illness, or emotional stress. Dogs communicate primarily through behavior. They cannot tell us directly when something feels wrong, but they show us. And paying attention to these small changes is one of the most powerful ways to understand them, because often the smallest behaviors carry the deepest messages. And perhaps that's what makes this gesture so remarkable. A dog resting their head on you is quiet, almost invisible. No dramatic signals, no loud requests, just a soft weight, leaning gently into your presence. But beneath that simplicity lies thousands of years of evolution, ancient pack instincts, complex brain chemistry, emotional intelligence, and a bond between species that science is still trying to fully understand. For the dog, that moment isn't random. It's intentional. It's connection. It's safety. It's belonging. In a world that dogs experience mostly through scent, body language, and emotional cues, this simple act becomes one of the clearest ways they can say something profound. You are my safe place. And perhaps that's why so many people describe life with a dog as different from any other relationship. Because dogs don't communicate with long explanations. They communicate with presence, with small gestures, with quiet moments on the couch when the world slows down and a warm head rests gently on your leg. If you have a dog who does this the next time it happens, pause for a moment. Notice the calm. Notice the trust. Because in that silent interaction, something powerful is happening between two species that chose each other thousands of years ago. And the conversation is still continuing today. If your dog rests their head on you, I'd love to hear about it. Tell me in the comments what your dog does when they want to feel close to you. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology behind dog behavior, make sure to subscribe for more stories about the incredible minds of our canine companions. And stay with us, because in the next video, we're exploring another fascinating question. Why do dogs stare at their owners while they sleep? The answer might surprise you.